To see you're still joining us on Good Morning KSA. That was a quick and nutritious breakfast with Chef Randa and with Russia. And of course, as Russia said, these sandwiches are very simple to make, and I really do hope that you have a great time making them at home. But today we're going to be looking at something very interesting in our health and medical segment. And for today, we're going to be looking at basically the heart in general. And we've got a very special guest joining us here in the of course, the studio. Let me say salam alaikum and good morning to Dr. Abdullah Abdul-Qadir, who is actually the manager of Prince Sultan Cardiac Center in Assas. Salam alaikum to you, sir.
Alaikum salam.
Thank you so much for joining us.
You're most welcome.
So, sir, we were just talking about a conference that was held here recently in the Kingdom, which is the 3rd International Conference for Advanced Cardiac Sciences. Can you just give us a little bit, a general idea of the conference itself?
Actually, this conference is called the 3rd International Conference of Advanced Cardiac Sciences. And just to make it very brief, this is a unique conference of all cardiac conferences in the whole world, which speaks about certain topics which is exploring the future. So just to make it simple, we are exploring the future through certain topics related to cardiac energy, related to new discoveries in the neurocardiology, related to chronobiology and other new sciences, which is new by international means.
Absolutely. Of course, I'm sure, Dr. Abdullah, it was a very interesting conference, and I can't help but notice that some of the issues discussed are some of the contributing factors to different heart disease conditions. And one of the main issues that we are all seeing very regularly around us is stress. Many of us forget that stress is a silent killer, and it can affect different parts of the body, and more importantly, the heart. What did you find with this discovery? Because it's very interesting for people to actually know that being stressed and being upset and being nervous on a regular basis can contribute to severe heart conditions.
Actually, thank you very much for this excellent question. Actually, one of the unique features of our series of conferences, which is called King of Organs. We started with King of Organs 2008, then 2006, then 8, then before 1 month, 2010. And one of the main features which characterize our conference is looking for stress from a different eye. Actually, one of the main columns in the conference was Professor Paul Roche, who is the president of American Institute of Stress. And it's the real time to look for stress as a major killer. If we speak about congenital heart disease, about acquired heart diseases, about anything related to the heart, we will find a common pathway creating harm or insult to the coronaries, to the valves, to the myocardium, to the whole heart, and accordingly affecting the whole body through stress. It's not the time to go to details of the pathomechanisms and biochemistry and physics of this, but we are calling for global attraction for this stress. It is a simple word, but it is a killer. So stress is a common pathway for all cardiac diseases. And modification of lifestyle, I think, should be a major call of such conferences. And I think all governments in the whole world spending a lot of economy to treat patients, cardiac patients, and to build cardiac centers, to build hospitals. When the heart is affected, other organs will be affected, mainly the brain and the kidney. So we are calling to shortcut the process and look for stress.
That's very interesting. And you mentioned something very important. You mentioned lifestyle, and I think it's safe to say that we're looking at more heart diseases and more heart conditions within the 21st century than we did in the previous times. But sir, how has lifestyle, especially here in the Arab world, for example, how has this really contributed to the increase of heart disease and heart conditions?
Unfortunately, speaking about Arab world or Western or Eastern, we are now speaking about Western lifestyle.
Okay, for example.
It's actually a very stressful life.
Exactly.
It's mainly in the major cities. If you go to the peripheries, it is less, but it is not zero. It is there, still there.
Absolutely, in one way or the other.
Yeah. Actually, lifestyle is a very important contributor to initiation of stress, maintaining of stress, and the endpoint of stress. So we are calling for management of lifestyle. And I know most of us doctors are speaking about lifestyle in the clinics, but I think we spend 30 seconds or 1 minute speaking about this, and we are not giving details.
Okay.
So it's the right time to give details how we should manage stress. And I think now in the United States of America, and it was one of the topics of the conference, behavioral cardiology, how we communicate with each other, not as persons, as nations,
Absolutely.
and as global. And one of the major columns of the conference was Dr. Roland McCready, who was the chief scientist of the Heart Math Institute in California. And with them now, we are participating in Saudi Arabia in this program. We are calling for global coherence.
Excellent.
For those who are not understanding the term coherence in Arabic, just to translate it, it means الطمأنينة or al-insijam. So being in a coherent state, mental, physiological, is the true route for the future to cut off cardiac diseases.
Absolutely.
This is just to make it very brief.
I couldn't agree with you more, Dr. Abdullah, of course. But let's talk about some of the participants, because you mentioned that this is, of course, the third international conference, and we have international participants joining in this event. How can we, as a society, actually benefit from the exchange of different expertise? Because by working together, stress is a common factor. It's not just in the kingdom or in the Arab world, it's all over the world, and it's a growing phenomenon. How can we actually benefit from the exchange of international participants and ideas as working together to overcome this issue?
I think speaking about science in general, or human knowledge in general, it's, there is nothing called science or knowledge which belongs to a nation. So science, and speaking about cardiac sciences, it is international term. We are looking for the health of human beings.
Absolutely.
All over the globe, all
Absolutely.
human beings, and looking also for the health of the future generations. So speaking about cooperation, I think we in Saudi Arabia, and I think I'm not exaggerating if I am saying that, speaking about the hard surfaces in the Middle East, we are very close, or actually similar, or even sometimes better at introducing cardiac surfaces to our patients.
Absolutely.
Comparable to North American centers, especially speaking about the modern cardiac centers which has been established in the last 10 years in Saudi Arabia.
Absolutely.
So we actually started the process of King of Organs series in 2006, and to be honest with you, the stimulus was starting from us, because we have a lot of repetitions of the vocabularies, heart, chest, al-qalb wal-qulub in the Holy Quran. So the first conference actually was half and half between religious scholars and scientists. Then in the second and third, we became more and more of research and looking for exploring the future of cardiac sciences.
That's interesting.
So our major attention at this time is looking for cardiac energy. And to make it simple for you, if you pick up a textbook, one of the comprehensive textbooks of cardiac sciences from the library, you will see 3,000 or 4,000 pages, no single statement mentioned for cardiac energy. Now, through the conference, we are speaking to the whole world, telling them that our heart is beating, your heart, my heart are beating now. We have communication. Non-vocabulary communication.
Absolutely.
And this electromagnetic field, which emanate from the heart, or came up from the heart, it extends 6 feet to 12 feet from your heart and my heart. And we prove through the lectures that we have mutual changes which is affecting your brain from my heart, her brain from my heart.
Are you serious?
Yes, and this was shown clearly. And we are not speaking about speculations or spiritual, we are speaking about experiments.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So, okay, a very important question, sir.
And this is exaggerated when you have a touch, physical touch.
But okay, so you mentioned something interesting. You mentioned cardiac energy, and this is something that's, let's say, not very well known of. A very important question, sir. What about when it comes to magnetic fields, for example? How does that affect the heart?
Actually, the heart is the only dynamic organ of the whole body.
Absolutely.
We have two organs, those are producing electromagnetic fields. The first is the heart, and the second is the brain. If we compare the electromagnetic field of the heart to the brain, the ratio is 5,000 to 1. 5,000 to 1, and this is science.
Oh my God.
So the heart is controlling